Welcome to the closing bell on the 27th of August. Today, I'm just going to focus in on uranium because, quite frankly, I haven't got a clue what the markets did overnight. We had the Jackson Hole speech, and I think that will be a bit of a fulcrum for price action in the immediate future. Was the Fed chairman hawkish or dovish? My guess is that he'll try to be a bit hawkish. I don't know that he wants to ignite a huge rally, which will loosen financial conditions at a time when inflation, especially in Europe and UK, is going ballistic, but it's still not under control in the US. So my guess is that he'll try to have a bit of a hawkish tone, how the market reacts. There's a chance that it could have had a big down night, which would ignite potentially a really big fall. But, you know, I'm open to the fact that he might not want to ignite a huge sell-off. And in that case, could have spiked higher. So really flip a coin as far as what happened overnight. You know better than me. So let's have a look at uranium, because I think it's a big story going forward. This is a situation where, you know, Japan's just come out and said, you know, after the Fukushima and years of really trying to wean itself off its nuclear power, that it's doing a bit of a U-turn, going to bring some of them back online and even think about, you know, building more. So that's a big move for demand going forward for uranium. And, you know, we've got to think about this, that this has been a decade of underinvestment in the uranium space. A lot of the big players have left the field of play. A lot of mines have been mothballed, and there's been a big inventory overload sitting on top of the market, which has been slowly being worked off. So it's been an oversupplied market with dwindling demand. It's been terrible. But this is a pretty classic setup in commodities where you get years and years of underinvestment. And once things flip, if you get some catalyst that leads to that flip in demand, and it takes years to bring mines online. You can't just flick a switch and have it all go perfectly for you and allow supply to catch up with demand. So you can have quite a few years then of undersupply as the market tries to catch up, as prices move to a point that inspires people to take on the risk to get their mines back in operation. So for me, uranium is that one that stands out. With gas prices flying, you know, $500 barrel of oil equivalent in the gas price in Europe. If you look at the gas price in Asia, going absolutely crazy as well. It's an unsustainable situation as we start moving towards being green, shutting down our coal plants, creating electricity. The demand for gas going through the roof, of course, because of that. So, you know, it really is a difficult situation looking for that baseload power that's going to be able to provide stable grids as we move to more of a green energy base. And uranium might be something that really comes back to the fore. And it certainly is the case. Germany backing off, closing down everything there in the nuclear power space. And this announcement from Japan really, I think, igniting something here. And I'll show you the charts on a uranium ETF, which I think really drives the point home that we are at what could be a major inflection point. And that could be where the real opportunity is at the moment. So let's just jump and have a look at the S&P 500 quickly. What I want you to see here, this is just the weekly chart, and it's just interesting to note that the weekly trend has actually turned back up. Now the monthly trend's down, and it's at a point where it really can easily collapse from. But this is where playing devil's advocate and saying, well, you know, there is a chance that it's finding support here at that 10-week moving average, and you know, it could spike higher. Now, I think ultimately there's going to be a lot of selling pressure up there. I'm not sure the market's ready to really trend and take out the all-time high yet. But as far as the Jackson Hole speech, look, it's a bit iffy. If things collapse and head back below those moving averages and we get the weekly sell pivot, then definitely I will be switching back to a pretty bearish outlook in the immediate future. But yeah, if it took off and is headed back above those highs, this bear market rally that's been going on for the last few months, well, it could have some more in it before it's ready to keel over. So yeah, definitely not sticking my neck out on that one. So the chart you can see here now is the global uranium ETF. I think it gives a good sense of what's been happening in the uranium market over the last decade. And I want to give you that sense of a market that has been absolutely snuffed out for years and a big long rounding bottom, and it's starting to take off. So that's what I want you to get a sense of. You can see, 2011 Fukushima, look at this. Really, it's been an absolute disaster. And what happens is when you get a complete clear out, you do get then, years of just nothing. And it's had a terrible time of it, 2016 to 2020, really just a terrible market. Everyone's leaving it, closing mines, no real exploration. It's pretty much just shut up shop, oversupplied, and pretty much looking like it was a dead market to be involved in. Then this is what's interesting when you do get the big rounding bottom in these markets and it starts to head to the upside again, looking like it's ready to move. So let's just look a bit closer at this, at what's been going on. And you can see that we've had a shift in the long-term trend, which happened back at the start of 2021. And I want you to note, especially that 10-month exponential. You can see that coming through here and getting close to that 20-month simple. And what I do like to see as these trends develop is retests of that long-term moving averages support. And if things then turn back up, if we see the U-turn and we get the monthly close, back above that 10-month exponential while it's still in long-term uptrend, that's often a great starting gun for the next leg up. Also, what I want you to notice is the monthly buy pivot. So as prices are selling off here on the monthly chart, going lower and lower, you're looking at the high of those bars, and you need a monthly close above the high. So there's the high of the most recent bar. So this month coming up, the end of August, we'll be confirming a monthly buy pivot as well. Another thing I want you to note is when we have this big wave to the upside, notice the correction is moving in an ABC formation, and these are very strong buy signals in trends that are moving well. You want to look for that ABC, and by that I mean you've got the top of the range there, we'll call that X. Then we have the A leg, we have the B leg there, then we have the C leg down to there. And what you're looking for is overlap of A, being the point when the momentum is turning back up, and that is often the point when the trend will resume, especially if it's a strong trend. That is your opportunity to get on, are those ABC moves, a very powerful technical tool, that one. And another major thing to look at is this retest. We have that long-term range that it was in for years and years. And when prices do bust out, so you've had this big, long clear out of positions. You've got this breakout, which looks like a breakout above that very key level. And so often you do get the retest retest of those major levels. So you can see where that support has come in, which is related to that high. And from there, if it does rally and then breaks out above that high, that is really that confirmation of the market really being ready to take off. So if we're looking at this long-term chart, it's just one of those really rare and compelling moments, especially when you look at it from the point of view of what happened and where it came from. You can start to see this now as if uranium is seen as something that really can help the world get to zero carbon at 2050. This is the sort of moment when Japan's come in and said, yes, we're going down that path, and it's an undersupplied market for 10 years, underinvested, underexplored, mothballed mines, years to bring everything back into production, and we're about to flip over in the next few years into basically an undersupplied market from oversupplied. That is a setup for a long-term impulsive run. So this is the sort of thing that I'm thinking about of what is possible here. And it's still early days. We're still just retesting the breakout. And we've had our first monthly signal here of an ABC overlap, monthly buy pivot, returning back into uptrend. That's what you sit around waiting for. And with all of the setup that's happening in the world, with gas prices going completely ballistic, I think it's forcing the world to think, how can we manage this transition effectively? And uranium may be just something that the world does have to turn to. So that really is my idea for the day. We had uranium stocks up, 10 to 20% on, I believe, Thursday, just yesterday for me. And I think there could be more to come, but you always get pullbacks over time. So, buying what you can on the back foot, the most interesting and mines that are probably closest to coming to market, the most likely to come on stream. The Paladins of the world, which we're long in Pivot Trader. And I've just bought another one yesterday, which I won't tell you about because my guys are still getting in. But that's an area of the market to have a look at. So I'll leave that with you. And yes, I want you to keep your eyes peeled for something that I'm going to be running in the next couple of weeks or in a couple of weeks down the track, where I can give you a bit more of an insight into what I'm doing, how I make money for people. And so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Other than that, I'll come back with more next week. Cheers.